Welcome back, everybody, to the Tales of Berseria story wrap-up. This is kind of a weird one. So, this was about a 9-hour stream to wrap all this stuff up, because at the end of the game, there is a ton of side stuff that opens up. Everybody has, like, their own quest line you can do. There's a bunch of extra boss fights, a ton of Code Red monsters. We wrapped up everything except for, like, one. So the end of it is the Empyrion's Throne. We gotta go to the Empyrion's Throne again and take out, Inomineat and Artorias. But, some side quest stuff, little side quest stuff. I won't spoil it unless you guys, I don't know, you leave a comment or something, or pop into the Twitch channel and ask if you want, because it's a lot of stuff goes down, but I had to take a picture of this. This is his alternate costume with a cowboy hat added and a mustache. It's all really, really good stuff. It literally about 7 to 8 hours of optional content, and there's even more post-game content. Nonetheless, back to the Empyrion's Throne. This is actually Inominat's body. All the energy gained, it turns into this really long dungeon. The enemies suck to fight. They don't give a lot of XP, but they do give some of the end game gear that's not post game has a dungeon, I guess, that has even better gear, but this has the best gear that you can get, the adamantite stuff. All today, because we were running through and out of time, I dropped the difficulty, and I was like, let's go. And that was actually a really good call, because we got a lot more experience, too. And hey, look, birds fly. So, we get to the very, very top of this very long dungeon to fight Inomineat and Artorias. You fight them both one-on-one right off the bat, and I was on Chaos difficulty, and I was like, nope. It's a hard fight. And I was like, yeah, no, we're way under geared. I have no enhancements. My gear is like mastery gear. It's like, it was awful. I was like, yeah, we need to wrap this up. Dropped it to normal difficulty, I believe. Whooped their butt. They fused together just like Oscar and Teresa did. And it's an easier fight. We beat the crud out of Artorias, grab his own sword and run him through. And he says, he's like, I know what I was doing wasn't really the best, but, if it only had been, like, you and Law, if he said that had died, not Celica and my child, maybe it would have been different. And it was like, okay, cool. But he sounded mostly like he cared a little bit. So the problem is, Inominat's still alive and is super hungry because, right, no vessels or souls in him anymore. They doesn't have a vessel to be in, blah, 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 blah. So, Velvet goes up, allows him to bite her to eat and consume Velvet, but Velvet also uses her hand to start eating him. So it's like an Ouroboros thing. They're both constantly just kind of in that balance, equilibrium of eating each other, which sounds awful, but pretty much they're no longer going to be a part of the world. They've sealed each other off. It was like her kind of like a way of atoning for all the horrible things that she did. And she throws back to Laphicet 2.0 and says, yo, using the apple as symbolism, blah, blah, blah. You go on, be the next, go on and live your life. And then the Empyrions pop up. You can see the little, the different colored beams, the 4 gods. And they're like, hey, we need a new Empyrion now. Inominat's gone. And so your boy here steps up. And I thought these just looked stupid. So it was great. It was a good ending nonetheless. So he releases his silver flame, which cleanses all the, demon malevolent stuff. And so people turn back into humans, Dial, and everybody like that, except Rougarou. Rougarou's who he is. It's not because of the malevolence or something. And guess what? Because dragons are everything in this game, Laphicet turns into a dragon. He's now called Mautlus, or something like that. If you've played Tales of Berseria, I guess that's a big, big thing. If you haven't played it, don't look it up. But this whole game has a bunch of tie-ins, right? Because this was made about a couple years later, so it's really, really cool. Anyways, their Silver Flame is power to cleanse the soul of malevolence, woo! And at the end, it has them naked gripping each other. Great! Thanks, Japan! That's Laphicet and Velvet. But what's really cool is they keep popping back to that, but then they pop to these little drawings of them, this, idyllic world if none of this had happened. So, chat and I think it's probably, their dream as they're in this, kind of not suspended animation, but their existence of eating each other. They're having this dream where they go off and they're normal people just having an adventure, and everybody else is cool and awesome and wonderful. You see Eifried's alive back there, Eisen. So it's really cool. It was really nice and touching, and then it goes back to that, and it's like, okay, Japan, weird. And then we get a post-anime scene, and Laffy says pretty much hey, the world's always going to have its issues, and we get a dual-wielding Rokurou. Yes! With his great swords, which is not possible in D&D, I don't think. Nonetheless, and it shows everybody just kind of doing their thing and moving on with their lives and being, for the most part, happy. So, yeah. If you guys and gals stayed with us through this Tales of Berseria playthrough, I really appreciate it. There was some really, really great things about this game. The characters were amazing. The combat was a lot of fun. There was a lot of depth. There was constant mechanics being thrown in and added in. There's some of them are incorrect in their how they're explained because of localization, and a lot of these optional quests right before the end of the game had a lot of typos. But that's minor stuff. The same thing, like sometimes the skits, it was like would kill the momentum of the game, and I was like, I really like the skits, but like we're gonna go fight the last boss, 30 skits, and you're like, oh my god, you're killing the momentum you just added. But nonetheless, I definitely give this a very, very high rating. I think it's a great game, whether you like Tales or JRPGs or anime or not. I do recommend this. And look forward to the rest of the year. The new Tales game, Tales of Arise. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Hope to see you soon. Have a good one.